photography shopping live stream where we go online together and look for deals on photography gear and accessories, tripods, lenses, filters, bags, all kinds of stuff. And I did find a couple of really good deals today. So I'll share those with you. I need to fix something here on my streaming setup. Something's not right. Let me see. Uh, so I want to be able to share the screen, obviously, so I can show you the products. Okay, that's going to restart, I hope. It's not opening. Guess I have to do it manually. What happens if yeah, I can do it manually, but my little touchpad is not functioning. Unplug it and plug it back in. Maybe that'll get it. But so I'm running the stream ad free, so we won't be interrupted with ads. And in return, if you use my affiliate links down below, I'll earn a commission uh, with Amazon, B&H, etc. So everything should be ready to go. I don't know why this touchpad's not working. It's just not seeing. I'll just have to do it manually. Okay, let's get started. So down below, I have links down below to my deals page, which is this page here, Rob Trex Picks. And this first one, it's rare I see a tripod uh, like this at this price point. It's been a long time, but this is a really, really good deal. If you need a tripod, if you don't have a tripod, uh, you know, and you don't, you're on a very, very tight budget, $24 or $25 for this tripod is an exceptionally good deal. If you already have a tripod you like, but you want to keep a backup in your trunk, because I can't tell you how many times I've gone out and forgot to bring a tripod with me when I wanted one. And, just having a backup in the trunk at all times, this makes a great backup tripod. It converts to a monopod. It comes with this actually a pretty nice tripod case comes with it. And what I like about this, at this price point, rarely do you get a metal ball head and metal legs. So, uh, at this price point, I got no complaints about this, and it's got good reviews. It looks like here. So definitely, if you want to get a budget tripod, this is a great deal. Uh, the kind of tripod you can kind of beat up and use for a little while, and if it ever breaks, you're not out a lot of money, right? So I think this is a good deal. I have a couple of like backup tripods myself that I paid like, $25 or less for, that I use all the time here in my studio, at home when I'm testing gear or doing tabletop type photography, flat lay, all different kinds of things you can do with just a simple tripod. Uh, and of course, if you want to do long exposure photography, panoramas, things like that. A tripod's really essential for a lot of different kinds of photography. And I get it. The image stabilization in our camera systems now are really good that you could probably get away without a tripod for most of your photography. But when you want to do very specialized things, i.e., like I was saying, long exposure, panoramas, things like this, a tripod can make a world of difference. And this will be the best $25 you ever spend if you don't have a tripod already. Okay, and then this filter set, this was on sale. Now it's not. This was on sale for 50% off. So I picked up my set, here. I picked up mine for like $7.50. Uh, Still, $14 is not a bad deal. This is a 58 millimeter ring set, so it fits a lot of the different lenses I have. And you know, I would wait though. This might go on sale again. So just if you need a filter set right now, $14 is not a lot to pay. But if you're not in a hurry, uh, I would just wait until this goes on sale again. Okay, this is a pretty good deal here. This is an ND filter set, so it goes with an ND2, which is 2 stops, 4 stops. ND8 is 8 stops. ND16 is 16 stops, right? So these are great for, again, doing long exposure photography, and in combination with the built-in live ND filters with our Olympus camera systems, OM systems. This complements it very, very nicely. And the 58 millimeter filter set is on sale, and comes with a case and a little lens cleaner, as you can see there. So I think this is a really good deal for an ND filter set, and I prefer solid ND filter sets over variable ND filter sets. Uh, just because the it's less there's less issues with polarization and color shift and all of that. So these generally will give you better image quality when you go with a solid ND filter. It's similar to thinking of like getting a zoom lens versus a prime lens. Prime lens generally give you better quality, especially at this price point. You can spend a lot more, uh, and then a good variable ND filter. It's going to cost you 80 to $150, maybe more. But this will give you just as good a quality. You just have to select the one that you want. And like I said, it complements our existing built-in ND filters. Okay, now in rotation are the OWC V60 memory cards, SDs, and these are really good deals. These are very high quality cards. You're going to get great performance out of these, especially if you do sports action wildlife. And $20 for a 128, $43 for a 256. This is hard to beat for this quality of a card, and you don't have to worry about OWC. Typically, I recommend the Sabrents, but they were on sale yesterday for $20. Today, it's the OWCs. So if you miss the Sabrent deal for $20 for 128, then you can get this one. I would say of equal quality, and get equal performance and all of that with this card. Um, Here's another tripod deal. I don't recommend this one anymore, except for the fact that it's about 10 inches taller. So if you need more height, and it's done via these extensions here in the center column, this for $10 more, you're paying about $1 an inch to get a little taller tripod. But this is I'd say equal quality to the one that I showed earlier. It's just taller, and it's $10 more. So this is a good quality entry level tripod, and uh, is a little taller. So for those of you that need the extra height, if you think you'll need the extra height, I would do that. I would get this one instead. And then these little tabletop tripods, they go. It's hard to find one. Every couple of months, I'll find one that'll be like in the $25 to $30 price range. And this is a good deal for a tabletop tripod. I have a different version of this that I use. Well, it's not even. It's really a different tripod altogether. It's a little more compact, but this one is more versatile, being a little bit larger size. You can raise it up higher than the one that I have. But it's in terms of stability and quality, it's about the same. I paid $20 for mine when it was on sale. Now it's back up to like $40. But this one at $30 is a really good deal, and it's more versatile. The only compromise is that it's going to be a little bit bulkier in your bag, uh, the way it folds, as you can see here. Uh, but all the same, the versatility of a tabletop tripod, you can get down low. I like to use it for like shooting mushrooms and doing some macro photography, anything that is low down to the ground. If you're doing product photography, this is small. You can just put it on top of the table together with the product, rather than setting up a big bulky tripod when all you really need is something like this. So I really like this deal here for $30. And then this is another favorite accessory of mine. I'm thinking about getting another one. I have one now, and I use it time to time, and it's basically uh, a little tray, or what do they call it? A stone bag. It's not really. You could put stones in there, but basically it adds a little bit of you know, it's like having a little bag underneath your tripod that you can put like your lenses. What I use it for a lot is like putting power banks to power the camera via USB-C. Because when you do long exposure photography, you don't want to rely on the internal battery. Or if you're doing video work, which drains the battery very quickly, you can just set your power bank down here with whatever filters and accessories and things right in this little pack. So I really like this one, and it's 75% off. I should get another one because these are really handy. Because I use one in my studio a lot. Uh, I'll show you the one that I have. I paid $10 or $12 for this one, but you just wrap it around, and then you got like a little pouch here to just lay anything you want in here, right? Like I said, I put my power banks in here and then run the cable up. But if you're out in the field and you want to add some stability to your tripod, that's what technically it's for, where you would just put some rocks or something around there, and it'll really stabilize your tripod, particularly like in windy uh, conditions. So I, I I think for $3.74, it's kind of a no-brainer. If you don't have one, you should definitely get one. You'll use it a lot more than you realize. Okay. Uh, this bag here, this is a killer deal. Basically 12 bucks for a, sling bag. And it's pretty large. It'll hold a lot of stuff here as they're demonstrating in the bag here. And comes with a rain cover if you need it. So in sustained downpours, you want to use a rain cover. But if it's just light rain, you don't need to worry about it. And it comes with some nice dividers here that have additional pockets for setting our smaller lenses on top. So it really maximizes the space inside your bag. So this bag is really designed for mirrorless cameras, even though they're showing a DSLR in the images. This is much more suited for mirrorless cameras. So uh, yeah, I don't see anything wrong with this bag. The stitching looks good. The material is your typical vinyl canvas, and some nice dividers with plenty of pockets in the front. Let's see. They have a tripod straps on the bottom here, which is also useful for carrying your smaller, travel tripods. And let's see if they show any other pictures of interest here. There's the dimensions. So it's 15 by 9.5 by 6 inches deep. So it's a good size. And they're not showing the rear of the bag. I also like to typically have a rear pocket, but they have two zippered pockets here in the front. So I guess that kind of makes up for it. But at 15 inches wide, this is pretty big bag. So let me scroll down and see what else, because you can see all the other messenger bags are 40, 20, 35, 26. These and 99. I love this bag, but it's $99, right? Uh, yeah, they're not showing much else here. This is a rear view. I don't see a pocket here, but it's not critical because I got two in the front. So if you don't have a messenger bag, or you know need to replace one that you have, or you want to back up, because a lot of times I just keep a messenger bag in the car as well. So if I go out with my backpack and I don't want to bring everything, I can just put a few things in my messenger bag and hit the trail. So yeah, basically $12 for this bag. This is a killer deal. Okay, and then the ND 1000 filter, the 58 millimeter threads on sale. So this is great for long exposure photography during the daytime. So again, a lot of times you'll go to a waterfall and it's a bright day. You're going to need an ND1000 if you want to slow your shutter speed down. And it's also really cool with using with live comp. You can use the half-second or 2-second exposure together with an ND filter in broad daylight, and get some really creative images this way, doing long exposure photography. So I highly recommend this for $9. This is a no-brainer. Again, the 58 millimeter filter thread is very common on Micro Four Thirds. The 12 to 45 f4 Pro, this is a perfect match for the 75 1.8, and let's see, the 40 to 150 kit lens. So there's a lot of lenses that this will fit in. I use one with a step ring on my other lenses if I need to, but uh, at $8.99, I would, when the 60, because the 62 millimeter is going to go on sale eventually. When that goes on sale, I'll buy that one. And then when the 72 goes on sale, I'll buy that one. It's on sale now for $21, but I'm going to wait until I get like a 50% off deal, right? So this is the kind of deal that's better than what they do on Prime Day even. So definitely want to get one of these. And then down here, a lot of this stuff is kind of left over from before. These are just my recommendations. I talked about this filter before. This is a magnetic filter set, 72 millimeters, half price. The week before, I think it was the 62 millimeter on sale. Now this week is the 72. The 72, of course, fits the 40 to 150 f2.8 Pro lens. It also fits the 12 to 100 f4 Pro lens. So if you have either of those lenses, this is a great addition uh, to have because you get a 10-stop ND filter, you get a circular polarizer, and you get a magnetic lens cap, a metal lens cap, and you get the carry case. All of these things combined. Now, the UV filter I would use time to time when you're worried about getting your front element dirty, like at the beach or something. But generally, I don't use a UV filter ever. Uh, but the other filters that come with it, the 10-stop ND, the circular polarizer, the metal lens cap, and the casing, that's worth $37.50. It's worth way more than that. Because magnetic sets, they do typically cost in the $75 to $100 range. Even more, $200 for the brand names like Case and things like that. So I highly recommend this set here. And these are solid ND filters, a solid ND 1000, and then the circular polarizer, no problem. And they're multi-coated. So this is one of their higher tier lens coatings. Because I've seen some with 38, I've seen some with like 20. So this is basically one of their higher tier optical glass that they use for their filters with the Nero brand. Then, of course, I love these filters. They're on sale now at 62 and 72 millimeters. So the 62 is great for the 12 to 40 Pro. That's the lens I would probably get this for, or the 12 to 100 f4, because it has a variable ND filter, but it's a true color. So you're not going to get a massive color shift. There's always a little bit because of the way light reacts with polarizers. But uh, you're going to get up to 5 stops here, and you're getting a circular polarizer all built into one. It's a little fiddly at first to get used to controlling both, but once you get a feel for what does what, it's no big deal. And these are very, very high quality. No problem with image quality, loss in resolution, none, and barely any color shift. There's a tiny bit, but not enough to really worry about. And the build quality is excellent, and it comes in a really, really nice, well, not really nice, but it comes with a nice little case. So these are the things I'm recommending today. Uh, again, I try to focus on the smaller things, right? That beginning photographers that want to expand their photography without spending a lot of money and get started doing more than they can do with just a camera and lens alone, right? These are all things that can make a big difference when you're out in the field. and you don't have to spend a lot of money. I could buy everything. Think about this, right? Uh, I can get this tripod, this memory card, so we're up to $45. I can get this thing here, so we're up to $49. Get a messenger bag, we're up to $60. Get a 10-stop ND filter, right? Because we didn't get that here, right? These are, yeah, get a 10-stop ND filter there. So we're up to $69. So $69, you can get a really nice setup here. Uh, you can even add in the tabletop tripod. You're up to $99. So for $99, you have just really expanded your photography into long exposure photography, landscapes, uh, high performance SD cards, so you get very fast buffering when you're doing birds and flight, sports action photography. You get the little bag here, or sack stone bag, to do long exposure time lapse type photography. You can just lay your power bank in there. I mean, this these are just basic things that can make a big difference in the kind of photography that you can do for just virtually very little money, less than $100 for all of that. So yeah, I love this. Maybe you want to go with this. This is better for flash photography, or if you don't like to do super long exposures. This is up to an uh, ND16, right? So this will slow the shutter speed down enough that you'll still get a little motion blur, but still some detail in the waterfalls. Some people prefer a more realistic look to their waterfall photography, and you want to go with one of these filters rather than the 10-stop ND filter. The 10-stop ND filter, you really have to you can really do much longer exposure photography. Like in very bright daylight, about 2-second exposure. If you're under a little bit of cloud cover or in some shade, you can do like 25, 30 seconds with a 10 stop in the daytime. These filters here are for dragging your shutter down to like maybe 1/10 of a second, 1/20th of a second, in that range, where you get just enough motion blur to smooth out some of the water, but then you still see the detail and speculars in the waterfall. And which is also a very common way to shoot waterfalls if you want a little bit more realism rather than that smoother effect. Okay. I'm going to go to the chat section. That's the gist of the deals that I found today. All of them I think are excellent, and uh, and a lot of these things I buy myself, right? I bought this filter set, my bag over here. This is the filter. This filter is normally $90 to $100, but this is the you can get this for $80 now. 20% off the dual CPLs. This is very, very high quality. So if you want to invest in a good filter, like let's say you've been shooting with the cheap filters all this time, and you want to invest in a good filter, now's the time to get like this one. This very, very high quality. Not that I can really see a difference between the cheap ones and the expensive ones, but these have better coatings, and also really there's very little color shift, if any, and there's also uh, like I said, the resolution, you can shoot this in high-res shot mode and you won't see any difference whether this is on or off. Okay, I see. Let me pull up my chat window. Wow, there's a lot of chat going on already. How's everybody doing? So I see the Great Vanzini here. Is Robert's here? Good to see you, Henning. And let's see. You got a little mini rant here about something. I'm not sure where I'm going. I know where I've been hanging. The promises, the songs. Sound like you're singing along to a song there. And Darko's here. Good to see you, Ethan. Uh, and Let's see. Intrigue is here. Good to see you. And okay, the Gray Vanzini says I need an ultra lightweight tripod. So tell me your budget, and then I can make a recommendation. Also, what you're going to be using it for. If you want to do just if you just want maximum stability, or if you want one that you're going to use with very heavy lenses, uh, or if you're going to be doing panoramas and things, there's going to be basically three kinds of tripods you need to consider. A fourth one if you do video work, right? That's a whole. But most of us here don't do video. So give me a little bit more specific what the intent is, like what kind of camera and lens you're going to use on, and then I can make a better recommendation there. Okay, Darker will be back. And have you tried the clip-on filters? If so, what do you think about? Oh, the ones that go in front of the sensors. I haven't tried that. You have to be careful with those because they're a little pricey, and it depends what the intent is. Uh, the the light pollution filters, that's a very common one. They don't have the same effect as they used to anymore, because a lot of that light pollution filter is designed specifically for like tungsten lighting and filtering out those kind of things like street lamps and things. But over the last 10 years, everywhere has been kind of shifting to LED lighting, and the daylight filters just have no effect anymore. So I wouldn't buy a clip-in filter, a light pollution filter anymore. There's really not much need for it. And then there's the other type clip-in filters. Uh, you can't do like polarizers, right? Because polarizers have to be rotated. So now we're talking about ND filters and possibly other very specific filters for hydrogen, things like that. I, you know, I think they're a little bit pricey for what they do. I'm perfectly fine with just ones that go on the front of the lens because the other types of filters, typically for astrophotography, you're in very dark anyway. It's dark out, so you don't have to worry about reflections and flaring and all of that. These clip-in filters, the advantage is uh, that you don't have to worry about that flare and reflections and things like that because it's inside the camera body itself. And there was some use for that for the light pollution filtering, but not so much anymore, in my opinion. I'm not an expert on the clip-in type filters at all. I've never bought one, but I've been discouraged from buying them from my buddy Ben. He does astrophotography. He doesn't bother with them anymore. Unless it's very specific, like a particular wavelength or band that you're trying to filter out. I'm bag addicted. Yeah, you and me both, man. I want that $12 bag so bad, but I have to temper. And let's see, I tried the Rolly branded ND8 64,000 filter set in various sizes, quite cheap, but unfortunately some ugly color casts. Ooh, okay. I'm not seeing that with the one that I recommended because I do have that set here, and it's been very good. If there is any, I didn't notice it, so I'm not saying there's none, but I didn't really notice it. But it's maybe something I should test for to get a more exact, a little bit more precision in my statement there. And let's see, my chat window jumped all the way up. Okay, so Hiker Dude says, looking for a mini tripod to use as a grip for my left hand when shooting macro with my OM1. When I have my flash and AK diffuser mounted, my right hand often slips when, yeah, it's very helpful to have a grip. So the one that I recommend, let me, and it depends on your budget, of course, but there's some cheaper options here. Okay, so this one here is on sale for $10. I'm going to add this to my uh, deal page here, my picks page. This one doesn't have a ball head, so you can screw this directly into the bottom of your camera, either the tripod mount or into the base plate of your, because a lot of us use base plates that have quarter 20 screws in them. This would be perfect for that. Uh, so $10, you know, and you get a nice little grip and you get a little bit of a stand. The downside being there's no ball head, right? Which is kind of a pro or con depending on your use case. And it doesn't extend. It's one height, right? And you can't adjust the legs to go lower. At least not what I can see from the images here. It looks like it's kind of fixed right here. But it is all metal and it's going to be very, very stable. Uh, Another option, let's see. I got to close some of these windows before. Not that one. Okay, this is basically the same thing, but with a ball head. The ball head is probably removable, but I don't know for sure. This will give you a little more flexibility if you do want to get down low to the ground, because this tripod here does flex, like it'll lay flatter, or you can prop it up higher, right? The legs are adjustable. So this gives you a little more flexibility plus the addition of the ball head. So this is a nice alternative, for $9 more. It's not on sale, but that's a fair price because that's what I paid for about mine when it was on sale. I'll add this one to my that page, and then not that. Let's see. This is another option. This one's from Newer. Same idea. Quarter 20 ball head, and this one is just a little bit cheaper. But it's the same thing essentially. It is adjustable to lay flat like this. You can also prop it up at one level. So it has three different height levels from 6.8 inches down to 2.9 inches. And it's all metal, very, very stable. Uh, Rubberized grips. It's going to be easy to hold. So I think this is a great option as well. So I'll put that there. Don't forget to clip this coupon for an additional 10% off. So you're going to pay like $16 for this instead of, 18. And that's really the only option. So if these kind of fit your requirements, you're good to go. If you're looking for something a little bit different than this, let me know in the comment. And I'll see if I can address a more specific tripod you might be looking for. All right. Let's see. And Gigi Wildlife is here. Good to see you. Maybe someone in the comments can help me with firmware update for my Godox IT30. I just can't get the download to work. Oh, okay. I should do a video on that because I have updated my flashes with the Godox flash, the Godox flash. You have to download like one of their softwares. And then the trick is, I don't know at what point you're having a problem because there's a chain of things you have to do before it actually updates. But one of the most common problems is really the cable. So you need to use the cable that came with the flash if you still have it. If not, then you need to use a very, very high quality cable. Uh, Otherwise, it's not going to see the flash or it's not going to download the firmware so you can update the flash. It just causes all kinds of problems. The other thing is you can try is using a USB-A to USB-C, right? So the older USB connector to USB-C that goes into the flash, and see if you get better luck with that. But when you say you can't download to work, is it that you loaded the software but then it won't download the firmware, or because the firmware, if I recall, you download separately, right? It's been a month or so since I've updated my flashes, but um, maybe I'll do a short video on that. But try the cable things first and see if that gets you any further. And the Gray Vanzini, this is in reference to your tripods, just scenic shots, daytime, mostly ollie cams, but some APS-C2, no huge lenses, just need to spare my neck and back. Okay. So a good tripod, the only other caveat is how tall do you need it, right? For the shorter the tripod, the lighter weight it's going to be. But you can get decent height tripods. The weight that you're going to want to look for is in kilograms, but you want to look for something as close to 1 kilogram as possible. Uh, Typically, they're going to be 1.2 to 1.5 kilos. 1.5 is a little bit heavy. 1.2 is better. And then if you can find one at 1 kilo, it's very rare. They're going to be shorter and they're not going to be as tall. And it's going to be carbon fiber. So you're going to have to spend some money. All of the aluminum tripods are going to be heavier. So let me take a quick look and see if I have anything. This one here is 28. No, that's not going to cut it. This one's 39. Wow. The tripod I bought on Prime Day for $169, I think I paid, is now 300. It's hard to recommend that tripod. It's not worth 300. It's worth 200, but not 300. Okay, none of these, none of these. I'm looking. Let me get an idea of the height. If you're okay with something that's about 4 feet, like 48 inches, on me that would only come to about here. Uh, well, yeah, 60-inch will come to here, and that would 60-inch for me is about eye level because the camera is about another 4 or 5 inches, right? But let me take a quick look. It has to be carbon fiber for the most part. Mm-mm-mm. Outdoor lightweight. This one's not bad. Sue makes a lot of great tripods. 28, no. This is an option, but with a caveat. I'm sorry. I know you can't see my screen, but I'm just kind of going through some things here. And let me look. Let me check one more place. This one's 62-inch, but that's with the column extended. But this is a good option. Uh, Sue is a good one too. It's a little cheaper too, but it's not really a great deal. This tripod is crap. I don't want that. Hmm. This is okay. That's the one I checked already. Okay, that's a tripod I have. All right, this is a good sample of tripods. Uh, because after a while you start running across the same tripod over and over again, but just with a different label on it. And yeah, none of these. Okay. So let's go to, all right, so let me check the weight on this. So this one is 1.15 kilos. So it's very lightweight. It's on sale. So I'll add this to the deal page. And it goes up to 64-inch, but that's with the center column extended. Without the center column extended, it's 4 feet, right? 47 inches. So it's going to come to about here, and then you add your camera. So without the center column extended, you're going to have to kind of come down a little bit, but it's tall enough to get over the brush. And, it's tall enough for most things. But if you need it taller, you can extend it up to 64 inches, which would be right about here on me. And then with the camera. So this would bring it eye level. But this is very lightweight and it's cheap because it's not carbon fiber and it has a decent weight capacity. So this is not a bad deal if you're looking for a budget option. Okay, this one here, this one weighs, uh, they probably meant kilos. This is a tripod I've I had for a little while. I sold it to a friend of mine because this is a great tripod. It's relatively lightweight, very, very compact, easy to travel with. It's carbon fiber. This is less. This is a pretty good price, $142. I've not seen it for less than this. Maybe a couple dollars, but this is about as low as a price as you're going to get on this tripod. It has an inverted ball head, so you can level the camera very easily, but it's not ideal for panoramas, believe it or not, because once you clamp down the ball head, you can't rotate. So you really have to loosen the ball head. Then you put it in a position, then you lock it, and you're stuck there. So that's one caveat. It's not a big deal for most people because we're just doing single shots. We're not trying to stitch multiple panels together, right? And it's very stable. This will hold a 300 millimeter f4 in any combination. The other thing is that it comes with the plate, but it's not Arca Swiss compatible. So you're gonna have to use the plate that comes with it, which is, I believe, will work. This plate will work on an Arca Swiss tripod, but you can't use Arca Swiss plates on this tripod head. It's a little bit limiting in that sense. Limiting in that sense. Uh, but if these are the caveats. But this is a great price point. This tripod, there is not one plastic piece on this tripod anywhere. Everything is metal. The knobs, the dials, the screws, the mounts. Even this little hook down here is metal, and you unscrew that hook, and there's a little Allen wrench inside to tighten things up on in the field. This is a great tripod. The reason I sold is because of the Arca Swiss compatibility. I really need a tripod head that I can use an Arca Swiss plate. But other than that, this is excellent, and it gets to a really, really nice height. Uh, very, very good height, and it's super lightweight. Okay, this tripod by Photo Pro, and it comes in various colors. You can select the color you want and get more or less the same deal: orange, gray, or blue. Uh, this is standard Arca Swiss plate. The ball head also is inverted with a separate rotator. So this is ideal for everything photography related, but also for doing panoramas because you can sort of level the ball head as they're demonstrating here, and then it has a separate rotator, right? And this costs less than the newer tripod I just showed you with more versatility, uh, carbon fiber. So what's the catch, right? The catch is this is a little bit shorter. It's 62-inch tall, so it actually doesn't get quite as tall uh, without extending the center column. I don't know if they show the dimensions. They don't show how tall it is without the center column extended, but 62 inches will bring it up to here with the center column extended. But without the center column extended, it's probably just under 4 feet. So it's not as tall. Uh, Tall enough for most things, but not as tall. You're going to have to lean down, most likely. If you're average height, you're going to have to lean down to look at the viewfinder or just use the flip out screen. So that's the catch, but this is going to be even lighter. This thing is not 0.3 kilos. I don't know why the specs are off. Let's see if the photos have the exact weight. No, they don't show the weight. Do they give it to you in the Okay, so this tripod weighs 0.81 kilos. Very, very lightweight. Uh, so you definitely, and this is an excellent price. I would say this is my top recommendation of what we've seen so far. If you want a lightweight tripod to go out into the field with, this would be my top recommendation, especially at this price. That's an excellent price. The only catch being it's not quite as tall, right? Without the center column. And then it goes up to about here with the center column. So there's always a trade-off. But I like this one a lot specifically because of the inverted ball head design with a separate rotator. So you can do panos very easily with this and get great stitching. All right, here's one from Suray. It's basically the same thing, but with a regular ball head rather than the inverted ball head. I prefer the inverted ball head design because I like to do panoramas, but a lot of people like the simplicity of a regular ball head and they're not worried about panning. You know, if you level your tripod and everything ahead of time, you can still pan, but it's just not the same. And this is also very lightweight. The Suray, of course, is always going to be very high quality. And I don't see it weighs 2.1 pounds, whatever that is in kilos. Yeah, 940 grams. So this one is actually even a little bit lighter and about the same height. It's 2 inches shorter than the one we looked at. But if you don't like the inverted ball head design, you can go with this one with the caveat it it's is the ball head is different. And then finally we have this one. This is another one. This is even shorter, costs less, of course, and it's going to be even lighter. They're saying 1 kilo. That's probably about right. But this is going to be the most compact of all the ones I showed you. This one will compact down to the smallest. Do I have it? I have it in the car. I have basically the same tripod. It's an older version, but it's the same thing. It compacts down to this size. There's been times I've put it inside my messenger bag. I have the taller messenger bags. I've just put it inside the messenger bag like a lens because it's that small. I mean, it's got the same girth, right? But the height is very small. So this is very compact and the height is decent, uh, good enough for most things, but it has to be like not a windy day or you don't want it to be windy or uh, be in any kind of unstable situation because being so lightweight, it's not going to be quite as stable. You have to use like your 12-second timer, do all the things you need to do to make sure that there's no vibration at all. You could of course add this $3 or $4 bag, right, that I showed you to this, and that'll make a big difference. But that's the smallest, lightest. It's saying 1 kilo, but in practice, I think this will be the lightest one, even though the specs are never quite accurate on what they show on the screen. But yeah, this one is probably going to be the most compact, and it's very lightweight. But I'd say my top pick is this one. One other thing you need to look out for, though, is these legs are the twist out and pull. So it's very similar to uh, paint sticks, right? If you ever painted your house or anything and you had to kind of twist it to extend the paint stick, this is the same idea, right? You twist the leg and extend it out. And you just have to be careful if you're picking up your tripod and setting it down a lot. Because what I used to do, I used to use that tripod, the tripod that I have that has the twist legs. I used to use that a lot for the vlogging, where I put my, you know, vlogging cam on the tripod, and then I would walk and set it down, then walk to the next spot, set it down. And what happens is the leg can get untwist itself and get a little bit loose, and then your camera starts to sag, you know? So when you're using a tripod that has this sort of twist leg type mechanism, always make sure you twist it good and tight. Don't over tighten it because, man, it's a bitch to untighten it. Trust me on that. But just tighten it so you know it's secure. And then always double check it if you move the tripod without, without retracting the legs again. You just have to double check. Uh, it's not going to be a problem for most people because you're not vlogging, right? Where you're just picking up and setting down all the time. But that's the problem I ran into with this particular type of leg. But for regular photography, once you tighten it, you're fine. Okay. And just an update for the sand photos I use a 90 macro lens coupled with the MC20 and move focus while in a high res shot mode by tethering on capture to my CPU or computer. So move focus after each shot. Okay. Wow. So you're doing it basically with 4x magnification with high res shot mode. And that's wow. Okay. I would expected a much more elaborate setup like 20x or something like a microscope lens, but you're getting away with just, off the shelf stuff, right? That's awesome. And I'm glad you're here. I found the perfect frame for it. And I put it in a new frame. Now it fits perfectly, just as it is. Because the frame I showed yesterday in my stream, it was about an inch bigger along the sides. But this one fit perfectly. So I'm going to use this one. And it's a really nice, all metal frame with screws and, the only weak part of this, I got to clean the glass. But this is not like museum quality glass, so it reflects a lot, right? But yeah, so I'm really, really happy with this frame. I got to find a place to hang it, but I wanted to clean the glass. I'll probably put it right up here because I got a bunch of other frame things back here that I need to put up. But I got the perfect frame for it now. And then I stack Okay, so Helicon is the software for those that are not familiar with it. Helicon. Uh, all our 50 or 80 megapixel high res shots for the stack, then I can crop in some and main. Wow. I'm surprised you did that with off the shelf stuff. And Peter says, thanks a lot for your reply. It's a real pleasure to follow your channel. I enjoy your insights greatly. Yes, an ND filter color test would be fantastic. Okay, I'll look into that because I have the cheap filters. Right, I have color tested other cheap filters and I didn't see any difference. Uh, but when I buy variable ND filters that don't say true color, those always have a color shift, very, very yellow. But the solid ND filters I've tested in the past have been great. So I don't expect this to be any different, but it doesn't go without saying. You have to test it, right? So I'll try and do that. I might just make it a post on on my community page or my post page on YouTube rather than make a whole video, but we'll see. I mean, doing videos, man, that's a lot of work. It takes me like eight to 12 hours to make a 10-minute video, man. It's like, anyhow, I'm using the cable that came with the flash. Apparently my computer Windows doesn't recognize the bin file. Okay. Yeah, that rings a bell. What did I do? I can't remember exactly. That does ring a bell though. I ran into similar problem where I couldn't find the file or wouldn't load because of that, I think. That really rings sounds familiar. So I'll have to sit down. I don't have time today. I got or tomorrow. My calendar's kind of filled up. Wednesday I'm going to be busy. Maybe Thursday I can look into it. We'll see. And you're local to me. I No, you're not. That's Eric. You're not Eric. You just have very similar thumbnails. I'm about 6'2", but can stoop a bit. Okay. So yeah, you're gonna have to stoop with any of those tripods if you want the lighter weight. Uh, yeah, it's not bad for 142. It's not bad. Just that's the newer tripod, right? Or newer. It's spelled like newer, but they actually pronounce it newer. The newer tripod, and I'm just saying that for distinction between newer and newer. Uh, just watch out for that plate. If that plate is not an issue for you, it's the plate and not being able to rotate it after you lock the position of the ball head. And he says, I have a couple of heavier Cana pods. They're great, but as I recall, they're over 3 pounds. Yeah, so that's like closer to 1.5 kilos, right? Like I said, you want to be as close to 1 kilo as possible, and then they feel like they're feather light. And Haggerty said, thanks for the suggestion on the mini tripod. The newer TP29 showed looks good since the head is detachable. Okay. Uh, yeah, it's very similar to what I have. This one's $40 right now. If you want to spend $40, this one gives you extendable legs. Otherwise, it's exactly the same as the newer brand, but it has the same idea that you can make the tripod. It looks like it's using the same legs. It just doesn't have this extension, as far as I can see. But the ball head does come off. But I like to use this for the other thing that's really convenient is you see how this rotates here? God, that makes it so much easier to tighten this thing onto your camera. Because some of them just have a flat head with the screw sticking out, and you got to sit there and turn your camera. You know what I mean? So this little thing makes a big difference in workflow. It's not a deal breaker, but man, if it has this, yeah, it's going to be a lot easier to attach and detach. But it seems to me like you're just going to attach it this way. The other thing I noticed in some of the tripods, they have quarter 20 screws in the legs themselves, which is good for attaching, maybe additional lighting or if you have a strap, they have these straps with quarter 20 screws for like uh sorry, I'm having a brain fart. For batteries, power banks, like these small ones. So they sell straps that you put around this with a quarter 20 screw, and then you can mount a power bank directly to the little tripod. Or what else would you attach here? Not just power banks, but other stuff. I don't know why I'm having a brain fart. Lighting, power banks, and there's one other thing that you attach. Microphones, whatever. This has a cold shoe here with a quarter 20 thread right here. So uh, I can attach things here directly through the quarter 20 screw, but some of them have them in the legs, which is a little more convenient. So the newer TP29, yep, nice little tripod for 20 bucks or 18.99 with discount is like 16 or 17. Oh, loved your image shots with the star effect filters. Okay, so I have those. Let's see. I may have moved those off of my pick page because nobody bought them. Oh, it is on my pick page. So just scroll down here. So this is the pick page we've been on, right? If you scroll down about halfway, it's right here. This is not the exact set that I bought, but it's the same thing. They have the 8-star, 6-star, 4-star, it looks like, right? So 4, 6, 8 points. And this is a good deal. $17. A lot of other star filters, they're 25. You can see here, 26, 25, 27. This is actually the set that I bought, I believe. It was either this or the 58. Well, anyway, this is it here. So it doesn't need to be on sale. It's already at a great price. So that's why I put it on my pick page. And every other brand of star filters is $10 more. So definitely, yeah, I don't see here. What's this? This is a star filter for $10. Let me see what this is. Ooh, this has got potential too. Let me add this to the list. This is even less. Comes with a case. The case alone is worth 10 bucks. But if let's see if we can get 50% off. I might buy another set. If I add this to my cart, did it go to my cart or not? Buy one, save 50% on every one. So how do I get to my cart? Save 18% redeemed. Let me just get one set. And then if I go to checkout, uh, ooh, $2.64. Oh, that's because I got reward points. I'm not going to use it on this. Oh, nice. $5.29. So I'm definitely buying this for $5 because I think the set that I have is a 58 millimeter set. Let me see. Damn, I need my glasses. Hold on. Yeah, I have a 58 millimeter set now. So I might as well get a 62. For $5, I'm going to buy the size that fits rather than messing around with step rings. I'd rather use the step ring for a more important filter like a polarizer or ND filter. A star filter, $5, and a case. I can always use an extra case. Definitely getting that. So let me add that to my deal page. That's a winner. Nice, nice, nice. I wonder if they have this in a 77 because let's see, there's a 58, 82, 67. That's a good size. Sorry, I wish I had my little button thing working. I can switch quickly. So I'm looking at the other sizes. The 37 is a good size for like your kit lens, right? 1442 kit lens. Uh 67. What do I have in 67? Nothing. 40 72s. 72 is good for my Canon lens. Man, let me just look at the Canon one real quick. Do they have any? So if I redeem 18%, it's not as good a deal. The 62 is a rocking deal. I mean, $5. Come on, man. Um, yeah, I'm gonna go to my card and just buy that now. You have to act fast on these things sometimes because they could be on. I've had this happen. Like it'll be on sale while I'm doing the stream, and then someone else tries to buy it later, and they're all gone, or the sale is over. I don't know why, but I'm gonna get this set for it's $5. I mean, that's just a no-brainer. The carry case alone is worth more than $5. Never mind getting the star filters. Okay. And connect to the you have a Mac. I was able to tick the update button on the flash in the menu. Okay, I use Windows. So I'm not familiar with Mac, how they do things. Yeah, you're in Fort Lauderdale. So I'm thinking of Eric, not you. You're not Eric, you're Enrique. Okay. Uh so I'm $5 poorer today. Hopefully you guys will buy a lot of stuff and I'll make that $5 back. You'd have to buy almost $200 worth of stuff for me to make $5. Um, oh, Ethan, oh yeah, the lights. They work well and have great ability to lower and brighten the lights. They do get hot, but that's all right. Thanks. Oh, yeah. So a couple of weeks ago, Ethan bought the small rig LED lights that I recommended for like $16. They were on sale for like $7 or $8 off. So you got a pair, and they look like good quality. So I'm glad those worked out for you. Oh yeah. So yeah, small rig lights. Yep. Um, okay. So hit the tripods. Let me look at my Godox software. I got to refresh my memory on this. Godox, did I put it in my Enrique, are you using a Windows PC, by the way? Because if I make a video, it's going to be on Windows. The Godox G2 app. So I'm assuming, oops, I'm assuming that you can pull this up, right? So we need to select, and then I'm pretty sure it's in my downloads folder under drivers. I didn't name these very well. July 19 is probably one of these. Let me see. EFU. No, it's not any of these. Where did I put it? Maybe it's under, no, it's not here. So it's none of these PDFs. Let me sort by. I don't know where it is. But are you having trouble with the select file? I think that's where I ran into trouble, and somehow I figured it out. It was something like that. Yeah, the G3. Yeah, I have the G3 app also. Um, but I'll have to walk back through the whole process, like uninstall my Godox software, go to their website, download it again. You know what I mean? So that I can make a proper step by step. Because you never know. There's a lot of, there's a breadcrumb trail, I guess, from nothing on your computer to an updated flash, right? So I need to make sure everything is there step by step. So I'd have to start from scratch. But I'm not going to be able to do that at least until, oh man, even Thursday. I'm going to be catching up on stuff because I'm going to lose the next 3 days with some BS stuff. It's not BS. I mean, some of it's social and some of it's maintenance, life in general. One is kind of a photo job, all kinds of stuff. But all right, I think I'll call it here. So uh, I'm gonna, I might have a video tomorrow. Tomorrow, I think is National Photographers Day, right? And DxO is giving me a really big special tomorrow. So definitely tomorrow. Uh, Either look for a late live stream. It's going to be much later because I'm busy all freaking day tomorrow. It might be a late evening live stream, or if I can make a quick video, like just a talking head video about it, then you guys can participate in this really. Of course, tomorrow, right? There's going to be like 1,000 other videos out with the same promotion. So by the time you get to me, you probably already bought it. Probably already bought the EXO stuff. Uh, you know how it is on release day. It's not really a release, but on special days or special sales, I'm always the last guy, online to tell you about it. And then I get no affiliate sales except from the most loyal of you that take the time to wait for me to do something about it, right? But anyhow, you guys have a great rest of your day. Hopefully, I'll see you again tomorrow, if not sooner. And I also have my photo editing live stream. I'm planning to do that on Friday, but I have to double check my calendar. Once I'm sure I can do it Friday, I'll post the link so you guys can submit your images for photo editing. And then, of course, Sunday, I'll do my normal uh, live stream where we talk about photography for the most part. So you guys have a great week. Thanks for joining me today.